Let's take a quick shower. There we go. Wash ourselves. Make sure we get under the armpits there. And oh, there's nowhere to turn it off. There's no shower knobs.
I'm Xanderwood. I make indie games and tutorials on game development. I also play your indie games every week on my channel. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell icon so you never miss a video.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Before we get into the video, just a massive thanks to my Patreons, James Welch, Selwyn, and Basic Terror. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support, and I hope you're enjoying all the free assets on the Patreon page. A quick shout out to Hooded Olive, who played my game Rejuvenation Racer on his YouTube channel and gave me some very honest but very accurate feedback. Go over and check it out if you want to hear all the things he recommended that I could do better, which I agree with. So welcome back to the devlog. A few things have changed since the last episode. I'm going to show you a couple of little bits and bobs, and then I'm actually going to do some pixel art. So it's going to be a bit of a pixel art special. We're going to try and draw a few things that were recommended to add into the level. So I've got the nice blue floor. I've got these little drone spare parts over here, which look pretty cool. I've added in these little bottles on the floor that you can kind of see. You can't really do anything with it. I'll put them up here, a different set up there. So you can come into the armory now. And there's a little kind of, you can see the fence, the integrity of the kind of wire fence here is not quite what it should be. And there's obviously no way to get in to get that chest, but you can come over and inspect it. It says, looks like the fence has been compromised, but I need a tool to make a hole big enough to fit through. If you pick up these ammo packs now, take a look at the HUD here that displays the ammo you've got left. I've added a nice little shimmer animation. So these things now, they fire at you. I've added a hurt animation, so when the cowboy gets hurt, it shows a visual representation of that happening. The way I made the hurt animation was really quite simple, just because I've got this folder here in the event sheet that controls what animation the cowboy needs to be playing at any given time. All I did was add in a hurt state and trigger once playing that hurt animation, which if I double click on him, I've added in over here in the hierarchy of animations. Yeah, so I've just copied the shoot down frame here where he's kind of just taking his gun out of the holster, and I tweaked it slightly, moved the head in, tilted the hat down a little bit, and then I've just created 5 frames of the exact same image, and I've just colored every other one with a red tint. That then just plays once, like that, when he gets hit. And the way that looks in the event sheet, so for example, when he takes damage from a bullet, so we go on to cowboy damage, this folder down here in the cowboy event sheet, when the cowboy collides with a bullet, say the drone bullet or the wall bullet, if the HP of the cowboy is greater than 1 or equal to 1, and he's not invincible, because remember I added an invincibility state for a second after he gets hit to stop multiple hits and making the game too unfair. So if he's got at least 1 heart, he plays the player hurt 2 function, which is the same as previous one, just with a few tweaks for the cowboy, and that's it. And then in that function, so if I look under here, the player 2 hurt function, and this is where we set his state to hurt. So after he's been hit, we make him invincible, we add a little bit of screen shake, we play an audio, which is going to change. Obviously that's just the pre-death audio that I've got in there now. In fact, let me take that out while we're here. Deactivate the control so you can't move while we play the hurt state. Wait 0.2 seconds while he's flashing, and then set as opacity, reactivate him and set him back to normal again. So it's really quite simple to add in, and now every time he gets hit, no matter what he gets hit by, he's gonna take that damage and play that animation. The wall guns, so the little holes on the wall, I've just added a folder for this to control this behavior, and I'll put that on the enemies event sheet. And obviously, as you know, if you've been following along, I include all the event sheets I need that are relevant for that particular level in the main event sheet. If the cowboy's overlapping a trigger, which basically is the trigger of the room that has them in, I have to put that trigger in, because otherwise every 2 seconds you get these noises and they fire off even if you're not in that room. So if he's overlapping the trigger that says he's in the room, then the wall guns, which are these things, they just spawn in the bullet, and then they play the audio. And then when the bullet's created, we just set its angle to 90, which is directly straight down. and then if it collides with the wall at the bottom, it destroys itself, and that just infinitely plays every 2 seconds if we're in that room. Let me show you the bullet animation, because I did have just a standard black dot, which was a bit boring, and I didn't really like it. It looked pretty strange just flying down the screen, so I changed it for this little thing, which is a weird kind of shape, I know, but if I double click it, it's got its own animation which has 4 frames. So animation frame 0, frame 1 it goes red, and then I just change these 2 at the bottom, and then on 2 goes back to orange, and I do the same at the top. So if we have a look at the level, you'll be able to, if you pay close attention to that bullet now when we play that level, you can see that it looks a little nicer, a little bit more interesting to the eye. Well, I think so anyway. I've also added in, thanks to Marlin Media, the persist behaviour. So you can see we kill that thing. When I leave the room and go back, what was happening before is it was respawning in. Now it stays dead, which is great, and I can't believe that was such a simple fix that I overlooked there, but thanks to Marlin Media for suggesting adding the persist behaviour. That's made a lot of things a lot easier now. I've also added it in for the bucket, so we can shoot the bucket, and when the bucket gets destroyed now, it leaves a puddle underneath it, which is quite nice. If I leave the room, come back, oh, the puddle's gone. I need to add the persist behaviour to the puddle, but you get the idea. I've changed it with the bucket, which is quite nice. So the comments I got previously, I've added in the washing machines and dryers, which was a great comment from Samuel on Twitter. I also want to add in a few more bits. I really like the idea of having showers in the game, in the barracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create those now. The rest of the devlog from here on out will be pixel art. So if you're not interested in pixel art, then feel free to leave the video running for more watch time and navigate away from YouTube. Otherwise, stick around and check out how we're going to build it. So let me find my barracks. Here we go. So if you go up this way, you're going to make it to the gym. But as it stands right now, I don't have too much gym equipment. I just have this bench press in here. So what I might do is make this the kind of communal shower area. So let's take the bench press out. I do want to still keep the gym because I think there's some scope to put some decent mini games in there. If you remember from the Final Fantasy VII remake, you can go in and challenge the guys in the gym to like squats and pull-up competitions.
You got this, come on! Not bad at all.
So I think that would be pretty cool to be able to go in and play around with some of the gym kit and maybe have a kind of quick time button pushing mini game where you have to push the buttons in the right sequence to perform repetitions of exercises maybe. I don't know, that's an idea. We'll figure that out as we go along. But what we need to do now is put in a kind of communal shower. What I first like to do when designing pixel art is head over to Google, and I've got to be careful now typing in showers in case something inappropriate pops up, especially communal shower. Communal showers. Here we go. This is what we need. Something like this. It's pretty decent, with rows of showers, or maybe a room that just has showers in it. Maybe a wall with just taps, little kind of taps with shower heads. I like the idea of having these little mini walls that split up the room. They're pretty cool, with the long pole with the different shower heads coming off of each one. Maybe a corridor. They look pretty gross. What I think down the middle of the room there should be a kind of wall, and there should be obviously showers on both sides. So let's go ahead and put that wall in first. So I'm going to do this with a sprite. I could use a tile background, but I want to be able to control the ends of the wall. Or do I? No, let's do a tile background. I'm going to put it on the text layer. So size-wise, width, I'm just going to do 8 by 16 because I'm going to tile it horizontally. Now when I do any pixel art, the first thing I'll do is think of the object in terms of just a simple 3D shape. So I'm going to colour that green. I'm going to tweak the colours later. I just put in colours now because I can come back and I can tweak them if I don't feel that they fit within the level. Now with the 3D shape, the top of these objects are going to be lighter because they're closer to the light. So I'm going to draw a line along there. And now that already kind of looks like a wall. So if I open it up, so put it on the text layer. We'll put this on the game layer. So if I open it up now, I can shrink it down, snap it to grid on a 2x2. Make it 16. So you can kind of see it already could resemble a wall in its state just like that, to go down the middle. And the way my ends work in terms of the look of it, you can kind of see the wall directly down, but it's very much just a straight line on the left and the right, so you won't be able to see the size of these. So I need to keep that consistent with the level itself. So what I'm going to do is make each individual one of these its own little kind of block. So I'm going to need a border, and I don't like to go black on the borders for the whole object. What I want to do is use just a very darker version of the colors that I'm using, and then maybe just at the very bottom I'll put like a black dot, and I'll copy this and make this again darker just along the bottom there. Yeah, and you can see now. Yeah, that's the issue that I was thinking of was going to happen with the tile background. I need an end piece to it. So what I might do is just make a sprite that has, well, let me just try one thing. Yeah, you can see even that, like, unless I just do the middle bits as a tile, and then I'll just make the ends as sprites. Okay, I'm going to change the color, so that doesn't work with this. I think I might take the blues from the tile map here. Take this darker blue, and then take that blue. And this is one of the great things about working in Construct, is it has this wonderful built-in tile editor, pixel editor, which makes things so much easier. So I'm going to add some of those down there, almost like tiles, I suppose. And I'm going to go slightly lighter just to this top section, through to there, and to there. And then on this top bit, I'm going to put a lighter line along the front there, as if it's the light reflecting, so it's kind of shinier. There. Although now the top bit, it blends in with the floor because I picked the exact same colours. So I need to go more with this darker tone here. Pop that up there. I'll go darker at the back there. There, that's looking a little bit better. Though I don't like all of these constant white bits along the front there, so I'm going to take those out. Maybe just put one, but that might look a little bit too repetitive. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, that's looking okay, but what I need now is a darker outline around it, because you can see that I've put the darker outline on all of this other stuff here, which makes it kind of pop out a little bit more. If I pick another level here again with the cabinets, although it's not black, you can see it's just darker tones, so the contrast is a lot better. And with this now, the contrast just isn't at that same level, so I need to select these much darker tones of blue. That's going to annoy me with that. I'm going to move all of that up a little bit, but that's quite nice, quite like that. So I've got that dark tone now that runs along the bottom, and I think I'm going to see what it looks like if I put it along the top there as well. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's like it's popping out a little bit more now, but I think the top one's going to be a little bit lighter. So again, if you look at my cabinets, for example, the outline does go around the top, but it's a lighter version of it. So that's what we're going to do. So we've got that colour. I'm going to make it slightly lighter and pop it up there. There. That's great, I quite like that. Now I need a different type of floor because I want a floor that represents kind of a kind of bathroom. So I think the kind of squared grid is probably what I'm going to do. So if I go into my tile map here, I can just add in a new tile. And this is again another great thing about constructs. I can edit everything on the fly. So for my height, I'm going to add in another. These are 32 by 32 squares. So I'm going to add in another 32 pixels, which will take this up to 88. And then I'm just going to grab everything, move it up. To the top. Yeah, nothing changed. And now I've got a couple of extra tiles on the bottom, or 3 extra tiles. So I'm going to use these floors here now for the bathroom floor. I'm going to go a much darker version of the blue that I'm using. I'm just going to drag a line around it. And again, the floors, one thing you need to keep in mind with the floors is you don't want to be putting loads of detail in because it will detract. Like this one here is just plain blue. It's going to detract from the sprites that you put on top of it. You want the sprites and the objects in the game to kind of pop out, and if you've got quite a heavily detailed floor, that's not going to happen. So what I'm actually going to do is come down and do a 16 by 16 square in the top left and the bottom right, so it's a smaller grid. There, though one of them is slightly bigger than the other, but that might not actually might not be too bad. That might actually look quite good. Let's see. Now I can select my tile map, I can click on the pen and get my tiles, and I can just draw that right in. And that actually doesn't look too bad, I don't think. They're slightly off size-wise, but I think it actually kind of lends itself to the level. I don't know, what do you think? I mean, let me know in the comments. I can change it if need be, but I kind of like that. Or maybe we have that along there, and then the shower area is just the blue. I kind of like it like this. I think I'll just leave the entrance. Oh no, let's just make the whole thing. Why are we going back and forth on it? Kind of like it. Okay, then we can put this in a better place, like here. And one thing I'm doing with my pixel art actually, which I haven't done on this, is I'm adding the shadows in the actual sprites themselves. So I'm leaving a gap at the bottom, and I'm taking a dark tone of the main kind of color in the object, and I'm giving it a 150 opacity, and I'm adding in a shadow just underneath. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right, now we need to add in the end pieces to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the whole thing, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to add in another sprite on the game layer, which is going to be the same dimensions. So it's going to be 8 by 16, and then I can paste that in, and I can just tweak it so it's an end. So I'm going to take this and go along there. I'm going to take that to go down the side there, and I'm going to take a slightly lighter color for the top to go down one side. Then this one here, I'm going to make that, and that's going to go over there, and that's going to be the right hand side. Then I can just duplicate this, and then I can flip it, and that's going to be the left hand side. Now as long as I set the animation speed to 0, I can now put 1 on there, and I can put 1 over here, but change the initial frame to 1, and there is my my kind of mini wall. Now on my collisions, I need to grab one of these big red see-through things. These are walls, so they're not visible in game, but you can't walk through them. So I'm going to put one right over the top of that. Put it up to about there, because you're going to be able to walk up to the front bit of it. I'm going to just test that out quickly. Okay, there we go. And there's our kind of mini wall. So behind here, this is going to be the shower floor, and I'm going to have showers, communal showers on the back here. And I'm probably going to add in some water using particle effects. Again, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure of the floor, but I'm going to keep it there for now because it's different. Right, we need to add in another sprite now, and this is going to be our first shower. So we're going to go sprite, and the size of the shower is going to be 32 by 32, because that is the tile size of the tile set. So let me just color that in, just a generic color. So if you look at the tiles, for example, on this one here, these individual walls, like this one, this square here, that's 32 by 32. So because that's all 32 by 32, that's what the showers are going to be. And then they'll fit nicely in, and we can just line them up however we want to. So let's design that now. So it's going to, again, I like to think of it as 3D shapes. So let's go a little lighter for the top. Probably 3 pixels down. And then I'm going to come another 3 pixels down to create this kind of cubicle effect. And then it's going to be darker. Again, all you need to think about is where's the light source coming from. It's going to be darker at the back here. And you can already see now it's kind of looks like it's like a little cove. And then it's going to be darker on the insides here. And that already looks like it's kind of standing out a little bit. We just need to add a little bit of highlight. So there. And then an outline, which needs to be darker than this shadow. So there. And again, around the top it will have the same, but just a little bit lighter. And then these will be, again, just a tad lighter, just on the no, I'm going to put that just down there. There, and then the background of this will be tiled, so I'm going to just do it very subtly, and I'm going to draw in little 2x2 squares. Or do the top row, and then I'm going to copy it. So I can just literally drag around the box, Control C, Control V, and just drag it down. However, we're going to need a floor because it's 3x3 back there. The floor is going to have to be the same. The floor is going to be a little bit lighter. There. Let me just pop that in the game a sec. Yeah, I'm going to change it slightly. I'm not quite happy with the top section here. I think. I'm going to take it all the way up to the top. And I'm going to make that the edges of these pillars here to make them stand out a little bit more. Then change that to that colour. And then I can add a little bit, I want to add a bit more depth. It doesn't look like you can really stand in the shower. But that's better. And then there's going to be a shadow where the floor meets the wall. Along there. And if I make the opacity 150, draw another one under there. Kind of blend it in a little bit. Again, the floor here, I think a slight tile. Everything in bathrooms, if you want it to look like a bathroom, could just be tiled. Nothing screams bathroom more than tiles. And then 1, 2. Grab those, put them there. So yeah, I mean, I may play around with this a little bit more off camera, but that's kind of the gist of what I've got going on with regards to the shower cubicles. And then I want them to go back so that the top of the floor here lines up with the base of the wall. I can just drag out copies of these however I want. If I put the snapping to 1 by 1, I can drag it over 1 pixel, so it doesn't even look like it's doubling up. I could even do that. Which will be good. So let's just leave those 2 in there, add a wall, so it means we can't walk through certain bits of it. So there, so we'll be able to walk into the shower now. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, so it's kind of coming along. You can see I can walk up to the side now, I can walk into the shower. I just need to change the collision a little bit so the character doesn't overlap the side. But you can walk in, you can walk to the side. It's giving it a bit of depth. You can see it's a little bit too tall on the level. I need to shrink that down a little bit. And I need to put in the actual shower heads and the sprays of water. So if I double click in here, all I really need to do is just drag the whole top of that down by 4, just so that the tile background lines up. And you can see that that fits in quite nicely now with that. Although I could probably go up a tad so it just links properly with the top. Probably that actually, because then the top, like the width of this, sorry, the height of that should really kind of be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those pixels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it was the same height. But I don't think it's going to make too much difference. I'm going to draw that in anyway. I can just move that down. Paste that up there. And I don't like this line up there. I think it should just naturally blend in with the top of the level. So if I copy and paste that out, that one little bit, I can put that up there. And I can take away that. Paste that in there. And I think that's probably going to look a little bit better. Although I'm not so keen, I don't think I'm too keen on the darkness of these walls here. You can see how long it takes me to build these things. I need to tweak everything so much. And I also want to add in a little shadow. Just to there. In fact, I don't even know if I need this line on the inside here. I think this line here could literally be represented by like a lighter, like a darker tone rather than that really dark tone. Would be there. Yeah, I think that looks so much better. And then what I want to do is get a really dark tone and make it 150. And I want to just shade in down here, just those first 2. So it looks like there's a shadow bouncing off the wall inwardly. And that'll do the same thing on the floor here with these ones. Probably just darken that. No, I don't think I will. What I will do is I'm going to copy that row. I'm going to paste it in up there. There. And I could do that. Yeah, that's better. I'm more happy with that. I'm probably going to tweak it again, so don't be surprised if next week you see the devlog and it's even different. There we go. I'm leaving it at that because I do need to add in the particles in the shower head. But now it kind of blends in a little bit better with the top. Right, let's add in the shower head. So another sprite, I'm going to add in the game layer. I'm going to make this 8x8. And we're going to make this nice and white to add contrast. So right in the middle, we'll do 2. Probably that. I'm going to make the majority of it slightly darker, that way I can use bright white for the highlights because it's going to be shiny. There. Give it a bit more blue tint. There, and I think I'm going to leave it just with 1, put a tint on that one as well. But remember, with everything I like to put in the shadow. So I'm going to go down to 150 with a darker grey, and I'm going to put that in underneath that, and in underneath that, and just on the left and the right side. And then that will then fit in there. Oh. Let's make 2 of them. That will fit right in the middle there. That will fit right in the middle there. And let's just get rid of the collision so I can see it better. Yeah, I quite like that. That's quite nice. Now let's add in a particle effect for dripping water. We're going to make this one 1x1. And it's going to be blue, of course. Well, what else? What other color would you make it? Nice bright blue. And there it is. That's a nice blue. That goes well with the other colors, I think. Right, we need it to be continuous spray. So let's look at it now. If we hit preview, the good thing about Construct is it's got a really good particle system. We can hit preview and we can see exactly what it looks like, but that's obviously not what we want. So I can hold down shift and I can rotate round and make it now comes directly down, which is a little bit better. Spray cone is at 60, which you'll be fine. If I put that to 0, it will just come out in a straight line. That's how wide it's going to be. I think maybe 25. Pretty good. Rate is probably about right, but the reason it looks so blocky is because the size is too big. Let's make it 1, which is exactly what the pixels were. So now already you can see, if I put it in position, you can see it's already looking a lot better. But what we need, I think I need the spray cone to be bigger. No, I think it needs to be smaller. 10. But we need some randomizer on the X. So let's go 20. That's too much. 10. Still a bit too much. 8. A little bit better. Speed's probably a bit too much. 100. There we go. That's much better. You can see that it's kind of bouncing back up, which is what we don't want. And that's because the acceleration is at minus 150. Put it at 0, it'll just go straight down. If I put it at minus 100, it almost looks like they're bouncing off the floor if they fade to invisible at a shorter time. So if we say 0.5 seconds, they still go down too far. If I say 0.2 seconds, probably 0.3. That's a bit too much. I think 0.2, but 0.25. Yeah. And that looks great. Or do we want it to be more of a dripping tap, or more of a dripping shower, in which case we could just drop the rate down to 10. Spray cone to 0. And then the X randomizer we could drop down to 4. That's better. What do we think? No, it's just, I feel like I go over these things so much. Speed randomizer 5. So it changes slightly. We don't want them any different sizes because they're just droplets of water. We don't need to worry about gravity because they're just timing out at the bottom there. Angle randomizer could be good. No, it definitely should not be at 0. Opacity randomizer could be good. Put that at 20. Fade to invisible definitely needs to be. Put the rate at 20. Spray cone at 10. There we go, that's quite nice. Bit of variety in there. Turn the preview off, and here we go. We've got our little shower room on the build. We've got 2 showers. I probably will tweak them. I don't like the way they're just disappearing into the top of the screen there, but you can see we're kind of getting along the lines of something that looks pretty okay. Obviously the colors, they all kind of blend in with each other a little bit now, so I'm going to spend a bit of time off camera tweaking that, and I'll show you what I've come up with in the next devlog next week, and you can critique it to your heart's content in the comments until then. So thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I will see you in the next episode. Let's take a quick shower. There we go. Wash ourselves. Make sure we get under the armpits there. And oh, there's no way to turn it off. There's no shower knobs.